February can be one of the toughest times to catch fish in the year, especially when most of it is a little. It's it can be tricky because some bass are still waiting in their winter spots, just sitting. It's usually the males, and some bass have moved up a couple feet to start looking for places to spawn, especially down south. So today I'm going to be going over the top 5 best lures to throw during February, where to throw them, how to throw them, and to catch mini fish and big fish as well, because February is also one of the best times to catch your really big fish. So let's get to it. One of the first lures, probably one of my favorites to catch the most fish, is a crawfish colored crankbait, whether it be a square bill like this one or a lipless. This is a Strike King Red Eye Shad. This is a Rapala. It's called a BX Brat, I think. Yeah, BX Brat. So there's a couple different situations you could fish these. You could fish a lipless whenever these bass are sitting out a little bit deeper. You can hop it along the bottom, kind of like a blade bait. Just be careful not to get snagged. Make sure you're in more of an open area around maybe a deep flat. This is for when the sun is hitting those warmer banks in the middle of the day, especially down south. And there's these shallow parts of the lake that are a lot warmer than the deeper parts. It's like it'd be better to fish this in like 3 foot of water for those shallow bass and just cover water and fish it slow. Key to February is being slow, because a lot of these bass are still really finicky, especially a lot of the bigger ones. But again, it's one of the best times to catch your biggest bass, and a biggest bass of your lifetime. You could catch that. But fish these, because most of the time, this is when the crawfish are really active. They had just spawned, so they're trying to move around a lot and all that good stuff. So this is what they're for. The big girls, especially in February, are trying to feed up and get ready for spawning. So they could be looking for more food from anywhere to early to late. It just depends on where you live and how warm it gets, how quickly. So that's what you got to look for. Second bait is a jerk bait, preferably a deep jerk bait. So this is a Flicker Minnow by Monster Bass. Some Flicker Minnow by Monster Bass. This is a deep one. I don't know how deep. 7. I guess 7 feet. The ones that go deeper have these bigger bills on the top of them. The ones that don't go as deep have like smaller little bills that you can jerk. But you swim it down to your depth that you want it, and this will suspend in the water, and you just jerk it. You wait 8 seconds. You can wait 8 seconds to a minute. Pop, pop. Wait. You have to work everything super slow. Work this around deeper stumps. You could work it around deep docks, ones that stretch out. Say this is the bank right here, and then there's those docks that stretch all the way out. And then they're kind of big boat docks, you know. You could do that. But jerk baits, great bait. Especially for those fish. Sometimes there's a... Let's put this out of the way. Okay, we're going to pretend this walking bait, that's the bank. This is the bank. This swim bait is a line of trees, or it could be an island. Right here, this is in between, and then this is the main lake this way. Bass will start to move up from those main lake outer points and deep stumps. They'll start to move up slowly to this tree line. And as February goes on, late February, early March, they'll start to keep going around, and then they'll start beginning to pre-spawn and looking on places on the bank to bed. So that's what you have to look for. It could start earlier if you live down south. It could start a lot later if you live up north. But the bass will start here, and they'll move slowly as time goes on, up to the bank, and then they'll start roaming the bank looking for places to spawn. That's what this jerkbait's for, especially when those fish are sit straight up on here. You just fish it along the island deep. Pop, pop, pop. And you will get bit. Number 3, this is primarily for those deeper fish that are still out pretty deep. A good blade bait. A good blade bait. You don't want one with a lot of hooks. This is a live target fluttershy. This is a $20 blade bait. You bounce them along the bottom and let it sit. They're very heavy. This is a 1/2 ounce blade bait. You just bounce it along the bottom. Especially, again, this is another good bait for when those fish are sitting up right here. You can just bounce it because those fish are still going to be sitting on the bottom. Just bounce it along like that. That's all you got to do. You can get bit. Just work it slow. Pop. Let it sit. Pop. Let it sit. And as it keeps coming up and going down, it will flutter side to side, very subtle. Pop, flutter, down. Just like that. It's a very, very subtle bait. Making a video. Number 4. These next 2 baits are for when, especially in the later parts of February, when these fish are starting to get around some shallower cover, maybe on this side of the island and on those deep boat docks that poke out. A jig. In the winter, you do not want to pop a jig like you would maybe in the summer or the fall. You want to drag a jig like you would a Carolina rig. Drag like that. Football jigs work great for this because they have that flat bottom right there, so they don't get hung up very much. This is great to fish around, again, those deeper boat docks, those deep stumps around the island. You don't have to fish primarily an island. You can fish deeper points, you know, like maybe not like deep, like not like outer lake points, main lake points, but like those points that cut when you come into a cove, and there's those little points that stick out in between docks. Those are what you want to drag this jig along. But that, like, they're still kind of deep. You want to still fish it deep, but you don't want to fish it too shallow. Unless it's warmed up enough where those bass are spawning, and then you may want to start hopping that jig a little bit, or you can keep dragging it. So number 4 is a jig. Number 5, a good spinnerbait. This is Booyah's most premium spinnerbait. It's a $12 spinnerbait. It's got a nice tungsten head on it. I don't know what wire this is, but really high quality blades on that thing. Nice sharp hook. What you need. This is very important to fish around cover, like deep, like those deep stumps, deeper boat docks, whatever. You let it sink to the bottom. You swim it slowly. And those bass will come up and they'll choose to hit it or they won't. It's all up to them. Fish it slow. The key to winter is slow. Winter is also not a time for top water. You do not do top water in the winter. That is spring through fall is for top water. But yeah, those are the 5 best baits that I have. Probably my favorite to throw out of these is probably the jig, just dragging it along, or a lipless. I like to throw lipless deep for those fish. Ponds, I would throw that lipless, that craw-colored lipless, or that jig. A jerkbait will work good too in ponds. It just depends on what the main forage of food. If there's not any crawfish in there, stick to your jerkbait. And yeah, just stick to your jerkbait. If there's not craws, and maybe you can pick up a blade bait if you like. If there's like no crawfish in there, that's what you want. But that's all I got for you. I hope this helps you out a little bit. Catch some more fish this month. In March, we'll make one about spawning fish. because that's fun. You sight fish going around on your boat around those banks and look for those big girls. So we'll do a video on that. Hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps you. And if you did like the video, please leave a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Also hit that sub button if you're new. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.